11 years is a long time to wait for a friend, but the city of Buffalo waited, sometimes impatiently, and hoped, oft-times against hope, for the return of professional football, gone since 1949. Suddenly, the waiting and the hoping were over. The season of 1960 would see the return of professional football to Buffalo. Yes, the Bills had indeed come home. Ralph C. Wilson, Jr. of Detroit was granted a franchise in the new American Football League. He announced plans to locate in Buffalo. Many details had to be worked out quickly. Most pressing was the problem of a playing home for the Bills. Buffalo officials offered 100% cooperation. Thus, with a minimum of delay and negotiation, the lease for the stadium was signed in the office of Mayor Frank Sedita. An organization had to be formed immediately. Wilson selected his chief administrative officer, a man of vast experience, and he signed Dick Gallagher as general manager. The Bills moved into offices at 164 Franklin Street, but something terribly important continued missing until...
My name's Buster Ramsey, and I've come to coach the Buffalo Bills. What do you say? Let's get started.
Ramsey wasted no time in acquiring a working staff. Pro veterans Harvey Johnson, Floyd Breezy Reed, and Bob Dove were signed on as assistant coaches. The Bills began to sign players. Richie Lucas, All-America from Penn State, Tennessee captain Joe Schaefer. Then Tommy O'Connell came into the fold, and over 80 additional contracts were to be received as time went on. Then there was the matter of equipment. Before long, Buster was up to his neck in pants, pads, jerseys, tape, socks, shoes, liniment, and 1,001 other supplies, without which neither he nor equipment manager Ed Dingman could hope to operate.
As we progressed, I thought I'd go out and take a look at the stadium. This was my first look. I almost collapsed. I was sure we'd never play in 1960. But thanks to the wonderful efforts of so many people, everything was ready in time. Things were very hectic for the coaches getting started.
And there were tickets to be sold.
You do what you have to, though. But when training camp was ready to open, we were ready to go.
On July 11th, the Bills established headquarters for training at East Aurora's Roycroft Inn. The Seymour Knox Polo Field became the Bills' practice ground. Practice, practice, and more practice. And plenty of meetings, too, all designed to separate 35 men from the original 80 boys.
On July the 29th, the city laid out the welcome mat for the squad with a big parade.
Over 100,000 people lined Main Street to welcome the Bills back home and to wish them well the following evening's preseason opener with the Boston Patriots.
I wish we could have come through for all our fans from the start, but it wasn't to be. The team had many weaknesses we couldn't strengthen immediately. Injuries hurt us, and we didn't have much luck. I remember better than anyone, we lost 4 of our 5 preseason games, then 4 of our first 5 regular season contests. I've got some game action sequences over here that will show you better than I can explain what happened. I think you'll understand why I wasn't happy. Kill a light, Breezy.
These consecutive plays in the opening game of the Titans at New York cost the Bills the services of quarterback Tommy O'Connell and then halfback Richie Lucas for the rest of the afternoon. The offensive line was a sieve. Bills replacement quarterback Bob Broadhead lost 11 on this play. Defensive mistakes gave veteran pros like the Titans' Don Maynard opportunities to make spectacular catches like this one. Smart quarterbacks like Al Doro made things tough for the Bills' eager but so inexperienced defensive lineman. He goes the distance here. This time, Doro in the white jersey sets up the winning New York score in the final 2 minutes against the Bills at Buffalo. He romps 16 yards on this play. Now from the 16-yard line, Doro rolls out, spots daylight, and is finally downed on the Bills' 1. He dives over for the score. Doro's touchdown wouldn't have meant a thing if, a few minutes earlier, Wilmer Fowler hadn't muffed a perfectly thrown touchdown pass from Tommy O'Connell.
Turn the lights on, Breeze, will you? Just like the second game with New York, there were a couple other games the coaches thought we might have won during the early part of the season. But we kept throwing the football in the other guy's hands, and that hurt us, especially in our home opener with Denver.
This interception cost the Bills a probable touchdown. Deep in Bronco territory, linebacker Buddy Alliston picks off a Tommy O'Connell pass and carries it 65 yards. Alliston's interception may have cost the Bills a touchdown. Johnny Pyatt's theft was much more costly. It was the winning touchdown in Denver's 27-21 victory.
Our situation finally began to improve, though. A young quarterback, Johnny Green, joined us. He gave our club a big lift.
Green was honored as the American League's Offensive Player of the Week for his performance against the Oakland Raiders. Here he is in action. On the first play from scrimmage, Johnny pitches to Fowler. Wilmer scoops 42 yards to the Raiders' 38. On the very next play, Green passes to Ray Carlton, and the big fullback goes in for the score. It all takes 23 seconds. Here, Green fires a sideliner to Carlton for a 23-yard touchdown. At this point, it was probably getting a little bit monotonous for Eddie Erglatt, the Oakland coach. Nevertheless, Johnny hits Carlton for still another touchdown, this time a 32-yard screen. Green tops off a great afternoon's work with a 55-yard scoring pass to Albert DeBenion.
Yes, Green played some fine football in 1960, and he should be better next season. He's a real fine prospect. But speaking of DeBenion, I was proud of the way he came along. In training camp and in our early games, Doobie couldn't seem to do anything right. But with experience came confidence. Doobie turned in some exciting performances before the season was over.
As in this play, when he takes the 55-yard pass from Tommy O'Connell for 6 points against Denver. And here against the Titans, Doobie grabs a Green pass and streaks between two defenders, 32 yards, and a touchdown. This DeBenion effort is really electrifying. 64 yards before Bobby Gordon angles him down on the Oilers' 15-yard line.
That play is worth another look in slow motion. Half the Houston team appears to have a clear shot at Dominion.
It's snowy and cold in Buffalo in December, but Doobie keeps the fans warm as he goes 66 yards on a reverse for a touchdown against the Boston Patriots.
I think the play that best shows Dominion's open field ability happened in the final moments of the first half of the Denver game in September. We traveled 77 yards in 47 seconds, which proves something I've always said. In pro football, there's always time to score. I'm going to run the entire sequence because it also points up the value of an experienced quarterback like Tommy O'Connell, who refused to be panicked by the clock.
First, O'Connell hits end Tom Riley, who gets out of bounds with a 10-yard gain. Again, O'Connell to Riley to the Bills' 47. This time, O'Connell quickly to the Benion. Watch Doobie as he threads the far sideline. 53 yards and a touchdown, 14:59.
Let's take a look at that touchdown play again in slow motion. Yes, Dominion is one of the most exciting players in football. He's got the potential to be one of the game's great stars. Watch him in 1961. We had another boy who was mighty valuable this past season. We traded a tackle, Al Crow, to Boston for fullback Ray Carlton right after our opening preseason game. It turned out to be a fine deal for us. Carlton is everything a good fullback should be.
Ray led us in scoring, ground gaining, and was way up in pass receiving. He was just about the best fullback in our league, in my opinion. Here are some shots of Carlton in action.
Carlton finds a hole, cuts left, and outraces the Titans secondary for 54 yards, the Bills' second longest run from scrimmage. Here, Ray picks up 21 yards against New York on his favorite fullback draw play.
You'll see some more of Ray Carlton, especially in the Bills game with Houston at War Memorial Stadium coming up next. That game was one of the most exciting I've ever seen. The fact we won 25-24 before our largest home crowd added to my happiness.
After Houston scores, Carlton executes the draw for 10 yards. On the very next play, quarterback Johnny Green, anticipating Houston would have the rush on again, screens perfectly to Carlton. Ray goes 70 yards down the sideline for the Bills' first touchdown. The Houston game has everything, including linebacker Archie Matzo's 25-yard return of a very short Houston punt to the Oilers' 10. On the next play, it's Green to Dick Brubaker for a lead Buffalo touchdown. Matzos makes two tremendously important interceptions. Here he picks off George Blanda's pass and carries it 33 yards. Archie won the league's most valuable defensive award for his performance. Houston does some scoring, too. Watch All-America Billy Cannon. 58 yards on this pass from George Blanda. This 45-yard field goal by Bill Atkins in the fourth period makes it 24-22. Late in the game, a Green to Carlton screen pass carries 36 yards to the Oilers' 3. It sets the stage for the winning point. 15-yard field goal by Atkins.
You know, there's one question that bothers even the most learned sportscaster. What do football players actually talk about in a huddle? Let's take our mic in this Buffalo Bill huddle and listen.
Hey, fellas, I'm new here in the Niagara Frontier, and I'm looking for a place to bank. Can you help me out?
The Marine Trust Company is the place for you. They run a regular financial department store.
That's right. No matter where you live or work in Western New York, there's a full-service Marine bank office nearby.
Oh, look, I hate to interrupt you executives, but the timekeeper's got an anxious look on his face.
Okay. Listen, let's make it play 62. And you financial wizards, remember, that's the number of offices Marine has for your banking convenience. Let's go get it.
Okay.
Game, but we played an even better game out on the coast 3 weeks later against Los Angeles. If you recall, the Bills beat Los Angeles 32-3. It was a fine two-way effort. Our defense, however, was particularly outstanding.
Defensive ends Mac Yoho and Captain Laverne Torson. Tackles Jim Story and Chuck McMurtry. Halfbacks Richie McCabe and Jimmy Wagstaff were particularly effective. Here they are in action in some of the game's key plays. McCabe kills off an early Los Angeles drive with this interception on the Bills' 15. Watch Big Jim Sorey as he dumps all-league halfback Paul Lowe for a 6-yard loss. On the next play, Matsos and Torson combine to throw Kemp for another 18. Later on, the Bills again exert tremendous pressure on Kemp. The L.A. quarterback runs out of the pocket, and Yoho finally gets him for a 24-yard loss. This obviously upsets the Charger field general. Jack on the next play throws. Archie Matsos intercepts. Here comes Archie right into camera on his touchdown run. Here, Jimmy Wagstaff makes one of his many important contributions. This interception leads to a Bill touchdown 4 plays later. Buffalo was percolating offensively, too. Here's a sensational pass play. 49 yards, Johnny Green to end Dan Chambers. Watch linebacker Joe Hergert here. He puts the horse collar on Kemp. The L.A. quarterback's pass is intercepted by Matzo. Archie laterals to Wagstaff, and Jim carries it back 17 yards into Charger territory.
Wagstaff's play against the Chargers earned him the American League's Outstanding Defensive Player Award. After the Los Angeles game, we went to Denver for the final game of our 3-game Western swing. What happened out there bears reviewing, if for no other reason than I can't believe it myself.
Explosive offensive plays like Wilmer Fowler's first period 61-yard gallop made it a cakewalk for the Bills for almost 3 complete quarters. And here's DeBenyon taking a quick pass from O'Connor. A fake, a few artful dodges, a reverse of field, and Doobie's away. 76 yards for the score. Watch the block on the last Denver defender by end Al Hoytington.
Let's look at this play again in slow motion. Watch DeBenyon fake this defensive halfback.
On defense, the Bills were just as tough. Mac Yoho intercepts Frank Trapuka's pass and scores with an assist to Torson, who deflects the ball. Richie McCabe intercepts on the 19-yard line in this play. The interception sets up Wilmer Fowler. On the first play, the speedy halfback finds a hole, cuts in, and he's over.
Things were really going along fine. We were leading 38-7 at this point, and then the skies fell in.
This is the play that started. Trapuka hits end Lionel Taylor with a little quick pass. Lionel gets away at the line of scrimmage, and he ends up with an 80-yard touchdown run. Early in the fourth period, Trapuka passes to halfback J.C. Broadnax for 19 yards. Then to Taylor again on a little screen, and the great end carries for a 24-yard touchdown. By this time, the panic was on. Here, Taylor makes a magnificent catch of the pass from Trapuka and goes in. Play travels 35 yards.
They scored again to make it 38-35. Then, with a minute and 12 seconds left, we had to punt. Denver was on its own 34-yard line, 66 yards away. They ran 8 plays in 1 minute to set up their tying field goal with 4 seconds left. Here's how they did it.
But the Trapuka pass is incomplete. Next, Archie Matzos gets in front of a Trapuka effort and almost intercepts. But then Trapuka hits Taylor, and the Denver end carries to the Buffalo 45. Another Denver pass. Incomplete, but interference is called against Matzos. Trapuka throws for 11 yards to Greer on the Bills' 20-yard line. Then on the far sideline, the flanker back Ken Carpenter. Trapuka fades again. He throws too long out of bounds. Defensive halfback Bill Atkins makes a great save on this play to prevent a touchdown. The kicking specialist Gene Mingo unlimbers for the 19, and it's all tied up.
It was a long plane ride home that night. Matter of fact, we never did get home. We had to land in Cleveland and come in the next day. Many of our fans wondered why we weren't able to use Richie Lucas more effectively this season. Well, Richie hurt his foot in our first game with New York, and it never did heal completely. It pained Richie to run. But on a road trip to Texas against Houston and Dallas, he did some fine work. I'm really encouraged that next year he's going to be of great help to us. The boy has exceptional all-around talent.
Richie in action at Dallas. He passes to end Dan Chamberlain for 12 yards on this play. Now watch as he spots fullback Ray Carlton. Carlton grabs the pass and picks up 12 more yards. Lucas can't find a receiver, so he takes off himself. 16 yards later, he's down. Later on, Richie starts another drive by passing to end Monty Crockett for 12 yards. Dallas has a pretty good rush on here, so Richie tucks the ball under and takes off once again. He picks up 14 yards. Early in the second period, Tommy O'Connell comes in to engineer one of Buster's pet plays, the fake field goal. The short pass is to Carlton, cuts down the near sideline to the Dallas 12-yard line. Then it's Lucas once again, and Richie polishes off the scoring drive by keeping the last 7 yards for the touchdown.
Get the lights, Breezy. That just about wraps up the season, folks. We tried to make a film that would show some of the highlights and the lowlights, too, and include outstanding individual performances. I hope you enjoyed it. Next year, the Bills will be back again, and I think we'll be a lot stronger and far more ready to contend for the Eastern Division Championship. The coaching staff knows the weaknesses that must be corrected. We are doing our very best to correct them. We've signed some of the best college players in the country. I'm looking forward to 1961 with much enthusiasm. I hope you are too.
Hi, I'm Chuck Burr, Director of Public Relations for the Buffalo Bills, with a reminder that right now is the time to reserve your choice season ticket locations for 1961. Remember, all season ticket orders are filled on a first-come, first-served basis. So why not take advantage of the Bills' deferred season ticket payment plan? $10 down on each ticket will reserve your seat in any price range, $35, $28, or $21, and you have until June 1st to pay the balance. Like Buster Ramsey says, 1961 is going to be a most exciting season. I hope to see all of you at the game.